You're gonna think this is so dumb. All right, are you ready?
I cannot wait.
Okay. Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Episode 3. That was all I had.
Perfect.
Listen,
No
notes. I felt it.
Hi, everyone. This is I Don't Believe in Side Quests. I'm Lauren, and this is Gabe.
In this episode, we're going to be talking about kind of like what the gaming industry is, a lot of like what's coming out this year, and, kind of like where gaming is at in 2022. Hi.
Perfect.
Nailed it. Absolutely nailed it. Anyways, how have you been since last time we recorded?
I've been good. I had my bridal shower last weekend, which was really, really fun. I got the cutest picnic basket, which I'm so obsessed with. And hopefully the summer is going to be nice and warm. We live like right next to a park, so we can just wander on over, and there's a off-leash dog area right by there, so we can go right over there with my sister and her husband and their dogs and just watch the dogs play while we have our picnic. I'm very excited. It's wonderful. So my future mother-in-law came up and they stayed with us, and we just had a lovely time. A couple of my mom's friends were there, my sister, my aunt, my grandma, and it was a little tea party. Our wedding vibes are garden party, so it was just a nice little tie-in.
That's so cute.
Yes.
I love that.
My fiance's pocket squares and tie arrived, and they're like floral with some yellow and some blue and some greens and other colors, but yellow and blue are kind of key colors for the wedding, so it's a cute little tie-in there. A tie-in.
I can't wait.
Oh, no.
Okay.
Coming in hot.
I can't wait to see pictures. I can't believe you did that. I should have saw it coming. Your inner dad's coming out.
I know.
I mean, talking about florals, this weekend and the last weekend, we were doing all of our gardening.
Ooh, nice.
So we replanted all the grass out front. We did all our pots. We got our vegetable garden going. We put in work. I got sunburnt 2 weekends in a row.
Perfect.
I know. Love that for me.
Yes, I purchased a basil plant from my local grocery store, and so that's planted. And so every day from 11 to 3, I put it outside so it can be in its direct sunlight. And then I bring it right back inside to stay in the warmth. It's actually still out there, just because it was kind of left inside most of this weekend. So, because it was raining a lot. So now it's getting a little extra outside. And then my mother gave us some violas as a party gift for my shower. So I planted those today as well.
Very nice.
Yes, I know. It's gardening season. I love it so much.
Honestly, the best part of the year. One of the best parts of the year. Winter's my favorite season, but I do love like all the gardening and getting ready for summer. And then like seeing the what's the word? The like, not the outcome, the fruits of your labor, I guess you could say.
What were you guys planting?
I love that. We always plant tomatoes, peppers. We have 3 herb pots, like rosemary, thyme, basil. I'm trying to think of like the big ones. Those are like the big ones that we pretty consistently do. We've grown carrots in the past, and they came out like mutants because we have a lot of rocks in our soil, so they look kind of silly. We've grown potatoes, we've grown green beans, we've grown peas, we've grown corn, but all the deer ate those, so we never did that again.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're mostly just peppers and tomatoes right now, and the herbs. But sometimes we add in a little more. I don't know if we'll get more, but we just try to do our basics. because they dry out the peppers at the end every year, and then my dad makes pepper flakes with it. Cayenne
Ooh,
pepper flakes.
dang, okay.
Yeah. So I can't wait. Summers when we also have all of our like homemade salsa, because we're always having tons of tomatoes coming in, and everyone always gets excited because my dad likes to do a lot of tomato deliveries.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
Yes. I should have had pictures ready. I could have shown you some pictures of what we were working on. And then the pots are in preparation for Emily graduating.
Mm-hmm.
I guess we could say we are in preparation for the next episode watching the first season of Nancy Drew.
On the CW.
So we'll probably take a deep dive. Yeah, on the CW. We'll take a deep dive into that next time.
Mm-hmm.
It's got that to look forward to.
Yes, I'm very excited.
I'm excited. Yeah. I hope you get as frustrated as I do, or at least have some of the same like why, because then I won't feel alone. But it's also okay if you don't, because it'll be a good conversation.
What if I just love it?
I have some very passionate feelings.
What if I just love it so much?
I will not be able to look at you the same way again. I will actually, genuinely, based off of when we talk about the games and stuff, I will be so shooketh if you're in love and are like, yes, they did everything right. I will be so shocked. I hope you're as passionate. How about that? Not frustrated. I hope you're as passionate about your feelings about it as I am.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm excited. I'm about halfway through the first episode, and it's already the jump scare and the mild sex scene in literally the first 3 minutes. Shocked. Taken aback.
I felt like that was so CW though. That was so the CW and CW shows. I was just
they're just setting it up. They're like, all right, just so you guys know what kind of show you're watching. So if that bothered you, bye-bye. This is not for you.
Yeah. Yeah, when me and my dad watched it when it first came out, he was like, is this on the CW? 5 minutes in, and I was like, yeah, how'd you know? He was like, I know a CW show when I see it, and I was like, you're not wrong. Oh, CW, yeah, was also Riverdale.
Yes.
I would say this is very Riverdale-esque, Nancy Drew.
Riverdale, Sabrina, all of those pieces.
Yep. I've watched a ton of CW shows. Way too many.
It's always chaotic.
Definitely a fan. But also, there's so many tropes that I feel like they always fall into every
Their writers know what leadership is going to go for, which I love for them.
Yeah.
Just with the Real Housewives, I would much rather listen to a podcast or watch a YouTube video of somebody analyzing and talking through each episode rather than actually watch the episode. I want the commentary on the episodes. I don't want to watch the episodes themselves.
Yeah.
That's my
unpopular
hard stance on the CW. Except for apparently Nancy Drew, which we're doing.
Okay, but they definitely they did have some good shows. They had some good shows.
I love Smallville. No, Smallville was a show that my friends and I in middle school, we would all go over to this one girl's house and just get so many snacks and soda and all sorts of just everything that would keep us up, and we would watch it. We would just binge watch it until 5 a.m. and then pass out for 5 hours. So
that's a mood.
That was always just okay, it's going to be a Smallville night, which means I'm going to be, not alive basically for the rest of the week.
Juiced out of my mind. That's
and
funny.
She had 2 ferrets, and so her room was very tiny, and we just did not go in there because it smelled so strongly of ferrets that we were like, we'll stay out in the main room, commandeering the entire house. But
did it not bother her, the smell of the ferrets in her room?
I think she just got used to it. When you're just around it all the time. And then you walk in, somebody else walks in and they're like, nope, there's a whole thing happening here. And you've just gone nose blind to it. It's just like with most other pets, except parrots smell very strong.
Oh. See, I smell my dog. Like, I don't always like how she smells. And when we don't like how she smells, we give her a bath, because usually that means she's done something she shouldn't do. And because she has hair, she needs to get washed, not fur.
But in her, even at her cleanest, there's still a dog smell.
Oh, yes. Yeah, like she still smells like a dog, but she doesn't have, like, she'll roll in like deer piss and stuff.
Lovely.
To mask her scent and stuff. And you're like,
okay.
Dibbles. Stop.
Sorry, what's her name?
She hasn't done that in a long time. Dibbles. Dibbles. Aww. My dad was like, this is what she's going to be named. Okay, Karen.
I love it.
Some people will think I say devils. I'm like, no. It's like kibbles, but with a D.
Duh.
You ever heard that before?
One of my best friends has a Pomeranian, and I call her Dum Dum because that's what she is. That's not her name.
Oh.
But I was telling her to get off of a small child who she was bouncing all over in a park. I was like, Dum Dum, come back here. And the nice dad who was with the small child leans forward and he goes, oh, what was her name? Dum Dum? And I'm like, oh, no. That's just a dear little nickname that I give her because she's a lunatic.
She's a lunatic.
She is. She is a full-on like Pomeranian gremlin. So she just loves to be like underneath couches and underneath beds and just like full-on just scooting under and hiding under whatever dark cavern she can have. So I bought her one of those. I don't know if you remember seeing these online, but they're little shark beds, and so they're made for cats typically. But I gave her one, and so she'll go in it if we convince her to, but she won't go in it by herself because it's not enough of a cave. Yeah. Like, it's still too exposed. So but we have some really cute pictures of her in her little shark bed.
She's
so,
like,
worth it.
Precious wants a bigger cave.
Pretty much. She's like, the light can still touch me, therefore it's not what I'm looking for.
That's funny. We have a lot of names for my dog. None of them are really derogatory. Not saying that's what you're meaning to be when you say Dum Dum, but like Dibs, Diblets, Diblito, Papito, Puppuccino. Emily calls her Chubs. That one's so sad.
Oh no.
Or Chonkers. That's so sad too. we call her Babushka because we joke if she was a human she would be a babushka. Love. Like she has babushka energy.
Big babushka energy.
Big babushka energy. And she'll like respond to those names too.
Dogs just know, because after you call them a certain, it's just whenever you start doing whatever tone you use, because there's going to be like a da-na-na or something that you just always do for them. So at some point they start being like, the noise happened, therefore I'm going to assume it's for me.
We call her, that's true. We call her It and Karen if she's being saucy. Oh yeah, Mongrel. That's a big one. We call her Mongrel. She responds to that one.
I love it.
Poor thing. Bless her heart. She's so old. She's 14.
I call her Goose and Smush.
Oh yeah, Emily calls her Goose and Smush.
I used to call my family dog Goose.
Smush face.
The Goose is because she'll goose you with her nose.
Well, I call her Silly Goose.
Against like back of your legs.
And then it turned into Goose face. And then Goose.
Yeah, I did Silly Goose as well. My family dog, his name was Joey. And at one point when he was probably 6 or so, I was like, oh, you look like just a baby kangaroo. And then realized that's a Joey. So yes. It's all
Aw.
linking in.
That's so cute.
Mhm.
Oh, I love that. I love that. All right, well, you ready? We talk about the upcoming games for this
I
year.
am. Tell me.
So obviously, they don't know, but you know, I took a lot of notes. I wrote a lot of things down. I mean, feel free to stop me at any point if you have anything you want to say or add. Like you go for it. You go for it. So I kind of obviously we aren't recording this at the beginning of the year, so some games have already come out, and I did want to highlight them. One thing I kind of noticed about this year was that companies have been doing a ton of remasters of like old games.
Mm-hmm.
And then if they're not remastering, they're adding them to other platforms. So games that were maybe once more exclusive to like console or PC are now being added to that. There's a lot of things coming to the Switch and all of that, which I think is amazing. Like, I think it's great when things are on all the platforms because then everyone can enjoy them and, you have more people to be able to talk to them, like talk about it with
and
them.
I really blame pandemic lockdown for that because I think so many people started playing games again because they were like, well, I'm inside. I can't, go to a baseball game or I can't go out and drink with friends. Like, what are we doing? And so everyone was turning back to video games and feeling nostalgic for the types of games they used to be able to play. So it's so great that, after 2 years, companies are finally like, okay, we finally have set things up. Maybe they got started at the beginning of COVID, or maybe they were slowly working on it, and then we're like, oops, we got to move fast now.
Right. Companies have clearly adapted to it and brought back a lot of favorites, a lot of nostalgia, which is also really great because if you think about it, we're like generational now.
Mm-hmm.
Like parents are having their kids play the remaster of games they enjoyed back then. So like we've come full circle. That's phenomenal. So I found that very exciting. And kind of like with the remastering, there's been a ton of like collections and bringing back like a collection of remastered games and stuff. So I thought that was very interesting. So kind of like some highlights of what's come out so far. Monster Hunter Rise was already out on the Switch? No. Oh, now I'm confused. I thought it was on the Switch, and then this year it came out to the PC, but I could be wrong. But Elden Ring came out. That was a big hit. A ton of people were playing that. You yourself played that. Yes?
No, my fiance did.
Oh, yeah, your fiance did. Was he a fan? Was he a big fan?
He liked it. But then Lego Star Wars came out, so he got incredibly distracted.
Fair. Elden Ring seemed kind of like a cult game. And it's I think it's supposed to be like Elder Scrolls.
Mm-hmm.
And it definitely, like, I think attracted those kind of people.
I'm going to try to play it. I think I probably will end up playing it at some point. Because, I mean, he has it. And so we've got that Steam family share. So.
Right. So why not? So, yeah. That was a very enjoyed game. Like, people who loved it dedicated hours of their life to it. We also had Lost Ark come out. I don't know much about that. I didn't hear much about it. I saw some people streaming it. I think, I don't want to say it's an MMO and it not be an MMO, but I feel
it is an MMO.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I saw some people playing it. I didn't hear a ton about it. Pokemon Legends came out. I think a lot of people were pretty excited about that. If you love horror, Martha is Dead came out. And I did play that one. Or I played, I think, halfway through it. I haven't finished it yet. And it was interesting. You're like way back in the day during, I feel like it was World War II. And like you're kind of like you become a spy. Kind of, but not, but you are. I don't know. I found that was
Set in
fascinating.
1944 Italy.
Yeah. Yes. And like your dad is for the Germans, I think. He's like a general for the Germans, but then you meet people who are against the Germans and like you get sucked into helping them. It was good. It was interesting. At one point I will finish that. We had Kirby and the Lost and the Forgotten Land. That was a big one. That was a big one. A lot of people love that. Obviously, like you said, the new Lego Star Wars, which I've heard good things about, and I keep getting told to play it, so that's on my list. Ghostwire Tokyo, also for horror fans. I've been looking forward to it since they showed it at an E3. I don't remember which E3 they showed it at, but it was like a couple years ago, I feel like. And I was like, that looks fascinating. So at some point, I'll hit that one up. Do you want to talk a bit about Lego Star Wars?
Yes. Yeah. So Lego Star Wars, my fiance and I have been playing through together. He also has been playing a lot on his own. It is so cute and so fun. And once you can unlock characters and companions, one of the first things he did was unlock Porg, a little Porg companion. So whenever we run around, we have a companion Porg that follows us around and helps us fight. And that's very important to me.
Right.
And bringing side quests into the picture, we did play a side quest that I was truly obsessed with, where we were helping this little robot. We were in Yoda's forests, and so we were helping this little robot find a safe little home. And so we helped him go through all of these areas and fought off monsters and enemies and collected a bunch of materials and then ended up building him a little home. And we could choose if we wanted it to be a castle or like a little shack or something like that. And so we just built him a little home for him to live in. And that was kind of going back to our I don't believe in side quests. Again, that's something that could have, in a different context, been the entire story. It was the little robot's absolute primary mission was to, collect some friends and venture off into the wild unknown and then build a safe place and a home. And it was just so exciting and so precious. And I had absolutely no idea what I was going to get. I don't think the reward was incredible, but it was just so exciting to be part of that little quest and to help out. So I loved that. Other highlights for me that have already come out, I'm very excited about the new Dune game. So I have 3 Dune board games. And so the new Dune game that came out is very similar to one of those Dune board games, at least kind of aesthetically and like at a high level. And then obviously with the video game, they had to add in a bunch more bits and pieces to make it a true game. But so I'm very excited to play that because I've really enjoyed playing the strategic version in real life. The Sherlock Holmes games are coming out for the Switch, which is also exciting. And I truly keep saying that Her Interactive needs to put the Nancy games on the Switch. I don't know why that hasn't happened.
It does.
Out of all of the things that they have tried, I don't know why they haven't gone out on the Switch yet.
Well, it would definitely reach new people. It would expand the audience 100%. And they would maybe be getting more sales, and they seem to be having, I feel like, a lot of financial problems. So why are we not making the money?
I mean, they put the same games on sale every month. Like like there's literally no reason to buy any of their games at full price because they're on 30% off this month, 40% off this month. All games are 60% off this month. Like mystery ones are on sale for the Mystery Monday. So yeah, there's a lot going on. So if they had different versions of the game, I've got a Switch. If they started offering Nancy Drew games for Switch, I'd buy a ton of them. I already own all the games, but I would buy so many of them for the Switch so I could just like lie around, go on vacation. Because right now I can't play Nancy Drew without my PC.
Right.
But I have a Switch. I would love to do this. It just makes so much sense, almost too much sense. So hopefully that is something they already have in progress and just haven't announced yet. But what I don't want them to do is only release it on the Switch.
Oh, yes. Please,
can you imagine?
We started PC.
So,
yeah, no.
I don't know what they've been doing, as we've talked about, with their 7-year hiatus. But hopefully it's noodling on how to transfer everything over to the Switch.
One can
only hope. The last game I wanted to talk about was Dorf Romantic, which finally emerged from early access purgatory, which I'm very excited about. And it's a very soothing and cute little tile game where you're creating a world, basically. You're given a certain amount of tiles of forests or towns or rivers, and you're trying to attach everything and create a world. And you can either attempt to reach goals, or you can just create worlds that you think are cute based on the tiles you have. If you aren't getting points, then your tiles are going to be depleted. But if you start reaching little goals, then you get more tiles so you can keep going. But other than that, the world is kind of yours to explore. And it's so fun. It's so soothing. It's so beautiful. If you scroll in, you can see like deer in the grasslands. And you can unlock different almost skins for
the tiles.
For the tiles, but for the housing and the windmills and the different biomes. So you'll unlock boats, or you'll unlock, and so then you'll be looking in and you can zoom in to your world and you can see little boats chugging along a little river you've made. And it's truly so cute, so beautiful. It will change throughout the season, so the aesthetics move, and it's so much fun. If you just like kind of want to just have the music going, or even if you just want to listen to Spotify or whatever, listen to this podcast. I don't know. But yeah, it's so soothing. I've spent a lot of hours playing it just because you truly do not, you can put as much effort as you want into it, or you can just place things down and build little homes for your deer. Whatever you want to do.
I was recommended a video about someone playing it, and I looked a little, and so it looked like you do want to do the small goals, because when you meet them, you get more tiles. Like, it looked like you start off with like maybe 25, and then if you wanted to keep going, you'd have to do that.
Yeah, so you'll get a tile that will say, okay, your goal for this is to have 20 houses attached to this. So then you'll have to connect 20 houses to it. And then once you achieve that little goal, then you would get a new collection of tiles. And then there are kind of more overarching challenges that's place 100 perfect tiles, or lay down a track with 50 railroad tracks. And so those can be, you can have multiple games to do it, or whatever.
Right. Interesting.
Yeah. And those kind of overarching goals, those are the ones that unlock a new windmill or boats or something like that, versus the other ones are more in the current game.
Right. Gotcha.
So yes, absolutely. If you have not played and you want something soothing and beautiful and cozy, definitely recommend.
I love it. I love that. Okay, I'll try to go through a lot of this kind of fast. There's a lot of games still to come. We're not going to talk about all of them, but I did try to pull a lot of the bigger ones. Some of the ones I was interested in. I did try to pull a variety. So, like, because people like different games. So for May, those of you who love the World of Darkness, We have Vampire the Masquerade's Swan Song. I've dabbled a little in the World of Darkness. I play Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines. And in theory, Bloodlines 2 should be coming out. Yes, ma'am.
Can you expand on the World of Darkness? What's ease?
Yes, I can. Yeah, no, don't worry about it. So the World of Darkness is based off of tabletop games. That's where it started. And it's like this, it's kind of like D&D, but not D&D, Dungeons and Dragons, but kind of. And like it's its own thing. So it's like vampires, werewolves, humans.
Do you play by yourself
like
or do you have to play with others?
The tabletop you would. The video games are, from my knowledge, the one I played are by yourself. But you're like thrust into that world. And I think, I don't want to say this and sound like a noob. I feel like there's books about it too that came out after the tabletop that have like the lore. But then we had the video games. So Bloodlines is like the big video game from it. And that came out a long, long time ago. I feel like it was early 2000s. I think. I could be wrong. And so the new one, like, it's been a long time since the first one. And a lot of stuff's happened with Bloodlines 2. And it's kind of in a purgatory right now. But Swan Song is like I assume it's like another point in time in the history line. Like, it's not in the same timeline as Bloodlines. I would assume it's either before or after. I mean, I could be wrong, but that's kind of my understanding. I don't know. I kind of thought about it like it's having Bloodlines 2 is like Nancy Drew Midnight in Salem. Is it coming out? Is it not coming out? I don't know. It did eventually
aggressive
come out.
TBD.
So yeah, aggressive TBD. So I'm hopeful. I'm interested to check out Swan Song and see what that's about because I do really like the series. We also have Sniper Elite 5. If you like that series. Cow the Kangaroo, and then the Pac-Man Museum Plus is a collection of all the old Pac-Man games. And I believe it is a sequel collection to a previous collection that I think came out on the Wii, and I'm pretty sure I owned that on the Wii.
Amazing. On the Wii.
Amazing.
Do they still make Wii's?
On the Wii. I have a Wii U. They changed to Wii U. Do they still make them? I have no idea. But I do, in fact, have my Wii U. I don't... No, they don't. They don't, because we moved to the Switch. The Switch essentially replaced the Wii. Feels bad, man.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, because that's where you get all your, like, Nintendo games, you know, your Mario and all of that. Your Just Dances are now...
That's true.
Well, those...
And there was that
those were, like,
Wii
Xbox
Fit thing.
Yeah. So I think everything transferred to the Switch.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. June. Diablo Immortal. We have Demon Slayer, which is based off of the anime. Mario Strikers Battle League. Sonic Origins. Capcom Fighting Collection. A lot of Nintendo in June.
Do we think they're doing that because graduation is happening and so they think everyone's going to have a very clear summer?
Maybe. I mean, I feel like Nintendo's been putting in work. Like, I feel like they have been pretty on top of it coming out with things. So maybe that's why June, though, was like, they just hit it with everything they had.
I always think that
please.
for like June and, November.
July.
June and November.
Oh, yeah.
Christmas, obviously, Christmas breaks, any of those holiday gifts, but especially for people who are going to be on break. So I always think about school cycles,
right?
At least in the U.S.
That's smart. I like that. July. One I was kind of interested in. It's called Eyes in the Dark, The Curious Case of Victoria Bloom.
Ooh.
It's a roguelite platformer where you use light to fight back the darkness that's overrun Bloom Manor. It looked really cute and interesting, but like also a little spooky. Atmosphere spooks. So I was eyeing that one. And then the other game that kind of seemed like a key game coming out that month was Digimon Survive. Are you looking it up?
No.
Oh.
I have a side thought. There's
a
game that I just saw on Twitter earlier today called Little Witch in the Woods. Did you see that?
I liked your tweet.
Yeah. I retweeted it. Yeah. And so it's a very cute little witch just like flying her broom through the woods and finding animals and helping animals. And she's anyway, it looks so cute. I'm so excited about it. Anyway, just heard about it today. So figured I would.
Wait, so when is that coming out?
It's
Where
out
is
now.
It out? Oh.
It was posted today. It's out now on Steam and also Game Pass. So
interesting.
I'm going to have to go and acquire it. It came out yesterday, which was May 16th.
Gotcha.
For anyone who wouldn't know when we were recording this. It's early access. It's early access is what's happening.
Yeah, I made a note of that I was going to look at it later.
Yeah, it tells the story of Ellie, an apprentice witch, explore the mystical forest, help the charming residents, and experience the daily life of the witch. Anyway, purchasing now. This is not an ad, but it could be. Sponsor us.
All right, continuing on. August. If you love like the 2 Point Hospital and those games, we are getting 2 Point Campus in August. So you looking at me like you don't know what
That's
they are.
Correct. You got to roll it back. What's happening?
Yeah, I got to roll it back. Listen, if you know, you know. You look it up and you come back to us while I keep going. I know you have to do work, but we have to get through all these. We also have the franchise reboot of Saints Row and Soul Hackers 2. September, I'm actually extremely excited for this one. I think you would maybe be interested in this one. I should check out the trailer for it. It's called Steel Rising. It takes place in Paris, 1789.
Ooh.
The revolution has been suppressed with bloodshed by Louis XVI and his merciless mechanical army.
Okay.
You play... Yeah, stay with me. You play an automaton, and she is, like, stunning, graceful, lithe. It is crazy. I'm excited. And you're taking on Louis and his army. And, like, it looks beautiful. It looks dark. It looks heartbreaking. I feel like I'll cry. But in a good way, maybe. I think you would maybe be interested in this one.
Yes, it sounds like it's ticking lots of my boxes. So, okay.
Yes. Are you coming back with the 2 Point Hospital? You're like, no, I don't want to.
Oh, I got distracted.
Okay. We also have in September we have Splatoon 3, Warhammer 40,000 Dark Tide. If you like racing games, we have Test Drive Unlimited Solar Crown.
Sorry, so 2 Point Hospital, you're designing a hospital.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it's kind of like...
I couldn't think of a comparable game. My brain blanked when you asked me. I panicked.
Game developer. What's that one game called?
I don't know. But yeah, you design a hospital. There's some other 2 points, I think. There's a second 2 Point Hospital, I believe.
Game Dev Tycoon is the word I was looking for.
Yeah. And then I think there's another 2 Point that's not a hospital, but I don't remember what it is. But I know there's like a lot of fanatics who just like super loved it. And so I think they're trying to expand and make like other things that you build. So I assume the campus one would be like a college campus.
Build and control your
like
own
that,
university.
Maybe? Yeah, that would be my guess.
I just see hospital and then hospital jumbo edition.
Interesting. Maybe I'm just being a papija. I don't know. I looked at so many games. I watched so many trailers. I read so many articles. It all started to blend together. Like this one, this is going to be so embarrassing. So October, we have Forspoken. And I made a note that I was thinking about it. But off the top of my head, I absolutely cannot. Oh, wait, I have a description. Oh, thank God. I was like, how am I going to remember? Okay, you are... Oh, wait, I think I remember now. You are Frey, a young New Yorker transported to, I think it's pronounced Athia. And it looked like, it looked like there's a lot of magic and fun creatures, like dragons.
Ooh, dragons.
That you're going to
have to fight.
That's why you're into it? Yeah.
Oh, that you have to fight? You have to fight the dragons?
Yeah, they're like obstacles, but it seemed like the monsters seemed kind of like Dark Souls, where they're like super big and you're like this little tiny thing and you're like, how am I possibly gonna win this? But anyways, you're trying to find a way home essentially, and you get to fight some cool creatures. And then we have Gotham Knights. November. Oh yes. This is probably one of the like the top 3. This one I was very excited for. And this is one I think you will like. So it's called Starfield. It's from Bethesda Game Studios. Set in an area that extends outward from the solar system for approximately 50 light years, called the Settled Systems. That's right. Okay, so around 2310, the 2 largest factions, the United Colonies and Freestar Collective, engaged in a bloody war. So the game takes place 20 years after that, and the colonies are kind of coexisting in an uneasy peace, and you're going to be, customizable, just like Skyrim, space explorer. And so I don't remember if the people who worked on Skyrim worked on this, but the people who worked on Skyrim, one of the key guys was like, this feels like Skyrim if it was in space. And I heard this and I said, say less. I should tell Sweetie, because Sweetie is crazed for Skyrim. But it did kind of it looked like it from the trailer, kind of like Skyrim if Skyrim was in space. And I love space games. I love sea games and I love space games. So I was excited for that one. So I feel like you should probably look at that one too. That and Steel Rising were the big ones where I was like, I could see Lady playing those. Or Lady, Sweetie, I'm sorry.
Also known as Lauren. Yes.
I was reading while I was speaking. Okay. Embarrassing. And then December, the last month of the year. The sequel to Hello Neighbor. So Hello Neighbor, you were trying to figure out what happened to all these missing children, and like the main, is it antagonist?
Antagonist, no. Yeah.
The good person is the protagonist, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, the main antagonist that you were against was Mr. Peterson. It's a very cartoony game. You're a child. You're like trying to break into this man's house because you're convinced all the missing children are like sequestered away in his basement. And he's like your arch nemesis, and this whole thing. So the sequel is the whole town that takes place in, Raven Brooks. So I think Mr. Peterson is in it again, but we get a ton of like more actual characters, and you have to so the big thing about him was you were having to solve all of these puzzles and find things to make your way into the different rooms to eventually then make it to the basement and like all of this. But this, I think you have to be going to the different houses, and you'll find stuff in different houses to then solve things in other houses. Does that make sense?
Okay.
And essentially, you'll find what happened to the missing children.
You're just rampaging through the neighborhood, finding clues.
Exactly. And breaking into people's houses. Let's
Yay.
go. Child Nancy Drew.
Exactly.
So, yeah, the whole town is now your playground to discover as an investigative journalist. Oh, yeah, that's right. You're not a kid this time. You're an adult this time. Even better. And you're trying to figure out what happens to the missing kids. We also have coming out another big one, Stalker 2, Heart of Chernobyl. Something I want to make note of. So, originally it was spelled Chernobyle, and that's the Russian way to spell it. But then, when Russia
Oh no.
invaded Ukraine said, "Oh hell no," because it's a first-person shooter survival horror, and it is developed and published by the Ukrainian game developer GSC Game World. And so the Russian invasion, it put a temporary hold on the game, and then they got the people out of Ukraine, and I think they went to Puerto Rico, if I remember right. I read a whole article on it. They started making the game again, and they switched it. They were like, "Poop you, Russians," and they switched it to Chornobyl, which is the Ukrainian spelling for Chernobyl.
My old company, when the invasion happened and everyone, was just like, okay, how can we help? What do you think a reasonable way for a company to help for them to offer to do? Or they basically were like, hey, if anyone needs a job, we'll hire you. I was like, truly probably the least of their worries, but thank you. Okay.
I was going to say, I think they'd like to maybe survive first.
Right. I was just like...
And then maybe think about that.
Okay. That's great that we would... I say we. I was not working for them anymore. I left them so far in my rearview mirror. But, yeah, just being helpful. I was like, okay. Thank you for your contributions.
Whatever you need. Yeah. That's funny.
I just saw it on LinkedIn and I was just like, okay.
Yikes. So from what I was seeing, it is going to come out in December because they did get them out of Ukraine. Bless Ukraine. Sending thoughts, prayers, love. It makes me so sad. Yeah. I did not play the first game, but I was digging into the lore because I was super invested. I was super interested, especially hearing that it was a Ukrainian game developer. Because I feel like we don't get a lot of that. We don't get enough of that, Yeah. So I was like, okay, fascinating, and I thought the lore was pretty interesting. So I think I might try this one, and also why wouldn't we want to help? Support Ukrainian developers, So yes. Then I had some side notes. These are technically supposed to come out this year, but I don't think they have planned months or anything. So super excited for Sons of the Forest. I freaking loved The Forest so much. Played through it many, many times. Played it through all of the beta and alpha versions. I love that game. Chef's Kiss. 100% of those achievements. Easy peasy.
Is that the very spooky game? It's very spooky.
The cannibals?
Yeah, with cannibals.
Yes. The first time I played it, I could not leave my base for 10 days. Cannibals just freak me out in general. The thought of being eaten is terrifying to me. And then in the beginning there wasn't as much story, right? It was mostly just survival. But once there was enough story, I kind of it blinded me to all the horror. I was like, well, why is it like this? Why are there
You were too invested.
Why are there mutants? What are the mutants? And that's really horrifying. You learn what they are, and that's truly horrific. But it was interesting. It was fascinating. And I'm excited for Sons of the Forest because I think so the whole thing of The Forest is your son Timmy, when the plane crashes, your son Timmy, R.I.P. little Timmy, is taken by the cannibals, and you have to go get him. And so, kind of a spoiler, not spoiler, plug your ears for 15 seconds. No, you don't. You'll be fine. I don't think you're going to play this.
I'm thinking
Sons of
about
the Forest. I think you're Timmy. I think you're going to be Timmy. And I think Timmy either goes to another island that's like it, or he goes back to the original island.
Mm-hmm.
I'm super excited, super fascinated. All right, spoiler warning done. And then the next one I'm super excited for is the Outlast Trials, because I love the Outlast games, especially the first one. One of my all-time favorite horror games. I thought it was brilliant. Until Dawn is also really brilliant. Anyways, so I'm excited for that one, and I think that one is supposed to be multiplayer, but I could be wrong. So,
yes, all sorts of spooky games. Did I play The Forest?
I would play it again with you. In preparation for the second one, I would totally play it again. It's fun. You get to go spelunking, cave exploration. It's great.
I have The Forest. It doesn't look like I've ever played it. So
we play it and we stream it on the No Side Quest channel. Easy claps.
Pew, pew.
Pew, 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 pew.
Okay, amazing.
Amazing. Yeah, so then one of the other things I thought maybe we'd be interesting to talk about is kind of like, it's current news, but we don't really have a lot of news, but we definitely have a lot about like the current technology and like the big thing, the big bad wolf coming is cloud gaming. So obviously, currently, normally, right, when you're purchasing a game online, you're like, okay, I have to buy the game, I have to spend hours downloading the game, and then I can play it. And, you know, not all of us have great PCs. Sometimes, or great Wi-Fi, okay? Sometimes it takes hours. Sometimes it takes days to download games.
Sometimes it takes days just to upload a podcast because you were on your parents' Wi-Fi that really sucks. You know, life is hard.
Yes. Life is hard. And then you'll download a game just to find out that your PC can't even run the game. Your hardware, it is not quite up to snuff. You can have performance issues. Sad times. What are you going to do? The answer is, I don't know why I'm hyping this up so much. I don't really know if I care all that much about cloud gaming, but for people
hype it up.
who have these issues, you know? Cloud gaming is your savior. It will bypass this, all these issues, all of these sad issues, because you'll be able to stream the game in real time. From my understanding of what cloud gaming is, you're not going to need to worry about your hardware anymore, because somehow, some way, and their capabilities of streaming it from their servers, I assume it's going to be on servers, from their servers to you, you don't have to worry about the hardware. They will have the latest and greatest hardware. Yes, ma'am.
So would you would buy basically access to the game?
Yes. Yeah. So like, it's like Netflix, my understanding. It's like Netflix, but for gaming. So I don't know if you necessarily have a subscription, right? But yes, you are buying access to that, and then you don't have to download it. You'll just be streaming it, which allows you to not have to worry about, you know, what your computer is capable of. And which means you like won't have to constantly be investing in like making new computers, having better computers. And it'll be streaming it in real time. And that was my understanding. I think
follow-up concern.
Never mind. I'm not going to say it. Yes.
Follow-up concern and question. Not that you have the answer for this, but like, so the cost breakdown of that. So if we're just paying to rent the game, and these big companies are going to be streaming the game and holding the game and hosting it and whatever. So for little indie gamer or game companies, who are going to be selling their access to the game, I
don't know if indie games will be on it yet because this is new. I think you had a subscription, but then you maybe bought games as well. I don't know. I'm not very educated in it. I kind of just looked at the basics. Cloud gaming is not probably something I would switch to yet, so I didn't look too hard into it, which is probably bad. I probably should have looked harder into it because,
So I'm reading this article right now that came out in February that was talking about Google Stadia, which has been...
Google Stadia. That's what I was thinking about. Yeah.
Perfect. So that was lacking a lot of key features, and so they had a pro subscription. Then they launched a free tier in 2020. And it's going okay, I guess. But the company is asking gamers to buy games at full price, and then those games live only in Stadia. So
you have a subscription, but then you're also buying games at full price.
Right. And so it's complicated.
So basically, instead of spending the money on PC upgrades, you're spending money on the subscription, which might be cost effective, but it might not be cost effective.
Right.
Fascinating. So that was kind of our technology thing. For the news, I think when I looked this up, it was rumors, but I think now it's a little more confirmed. But Twitch is going to be moving to a more ad-based model.
And we've already seen that. Anyone who streams has already seen all of the Twitch, like, hey, here's new ways to really structure your ad viewing, and here are ways to, you can turn off ads if you're running your own. You can do all of these things. So they already were sending out a ton of information about ads and running ads and what you can do with ads, more than we had, at least at the affiliate level, had ever had to deal with before.
Yep. Yeah. So from my understanding, partner contracts are now going to be changing the subscriber cut. Or I guess this is more like top streamers than partners.
Top streamers, right?
Well, so top streamers have more specific contracts than partners. Partners, I think, have better contracts than affiliates, and you have obviously more things. But so the top streamers are not going to have the 70-50% cut like they used to. I think it's now going to go back to, or 70-30. Right, sorry, 70-30. Yeah, it's going from 70 to the 50-50 now. And they're going to be now encouraging streamers to make up for that loss of income by running multiple ads per hour. Yeah. So... I get why they're doing it. I feel like Twitch is struggling a bit financially, which really seems crazy to me.
Truly, it seems crazy. I would be so interested to look at their financials because I don't know what they're spending their money on.
Right. I feel like they would have to be making so much money.
Where's their money going?
I don't know. I mean, I know servers, hosting servers is costly, but I really have no idea. I don't know.
Well, then...
maybe we'll make a deep dive for an episode all about it one day. That could be interesting. But I feel like there's a lot of research that would need to go into that because there's just so much. I think you made note of this. I don't know if you want to talk about the note you made under mine.
Oh, yeah. So if you've been looking on Twitch, you can look at kind of the left side underneath all of the live streamers who you already follow, any suggested streamers that they have, and then typically you'll be able to see your friends. And so you'll be able to see your little friends pop up saying that, oh, they're live and they're watching so-and-so, or at least just that they're live. And so, you can use that to say, oh, okay, Gabe is watching this one streamer. Maybe I'll go check them out and see what's going on in that community that they're in. So it seems pretty innocuous. I don't use it that much. I'm only friends with a few people. I really don't whisper in Twitch unless it's the only time I use whisper is when a stream that I'm watching is having is doing something and they need to send out like an individual link to me or something like that. So
Right.
I'm not running around whispering to friends necessarily. But yeah, they are going to be removing the friends feed and removing kind of friends in general. So you'll only be able to like whisper to people that you're kind of mutually following. And anyway, so they're just kind of removing that whole segment. And I don't know why. I don't get it. They say it's kind of for safety, but
And how's that?
I don't. It doesn't make sense to me. It's very confusing.
I feel like, yeah, I don't feel like that's a smart decision. I don't really see how it can improve or help anything. Like, I maybe don't use my friends feed as much, but I definitely like over scroll my follow feed and then see my friends feed and then say, oh, interesting, I'll see who you're watching. Like, maybe I'll like that.
The official notice is, we launched Friends to help viewers connect with one another, similar to the connections between creators and viewers. Today, we see the best viewer-to-viewer connections on Twitch happens when we experience live moments together on a creator's channel, with very few viewers regularly using Friends to actively connect with each other. By deprecating this feature, we're able to focus further on building connections among communities while streamers are live.
It just seems like a BS to me, but whatever.
Yeah, so after May 25th, your friends list and the ability to see which your friends are online will no longer be available. If you block whispers from strangers in your privacy settings, anyone currently on your friends list will lose the ability to send you whispers once the feature is removed. When you follow their account, they're no longer considered a stranger and can send you whispers in the future. So,
okay. Interesting.
It's just,
I don't know.
I don't know why necessarily you would be friends with somebody on Twitch and don't follow them back unless they aren't a streamer, in which case it's like, okay, well, they're not streaming, so I don't know. Do you follow friends who aren't streamers?
No, I friend them instead. I would just friend them instead of following them. And like, I've used whispers. I do use whispers. I know a lot of times, like, mods will sometimes use whispers to get the streamer's attention. So that's kind of like my thing is
so,
like...
Yeah, so if you're if you're a mod for somebody, and somebody in that person, so if I was a mod for you, and somebody in your channel was acting up, and they had no whispers from strangers, would I be able to whisper them to be like, hey, knock it off?
Yeah, I don't know. Because also, another big thing that I've seen whispers used for is bots. Bots being able to send people individual information that maybe not everyone wants to have flooding the chat. So, like, how are you going to do that now? Because that's always nice. Especially, like, people who have, like, currency bots and stuff, and, like, things where you can actually use the currency, and, like, the bots will give you that information, and then you're not clogging up chat. Like, it just...
Well, I guess
I don't agree with it.
You could not block whispers from strangers in your privacy settings. I guess that's the solution. Is it a good solution?
But if it's a default, like, how many people are going to know to go do that, you know?
Yeah. And I have to go and look at mine and see if I have that.
Interesting.
I do have that set up. So currently it's set up to block whispers from strangers unless I whisper them first. A stranger is anyone who's not my friend, someone I follow, someone I sub to, one of my mods, or one of my editors. So if they're not on my team and I don't follow them or subscribe to them, they won't be able to whisper to me unless I whisper them to first. But if they have that setting. Anyway.
Yeah. The last thing I thought would be interesting to talk about was, like, trends. Maybe trends we can see for the next few years. Yeah. So I think a big one we'll be seeing is more love for indie gaming. I think indie gaming has finally gotten a foothold. I think it's very up and coming now. I think there's going to be a lot more opportunities for indie developers to make games and have their games be discovered, so that they can grow and get, bigger and better and do more and have, I'm excited. I'm truly excited for indie gaming. I personally really love indie games. I think some of my favorite games are indie games, you know? So I think that is very exciting, especially for like the horror genre. Indie gaming makes the horror genre go around. I also think we're going to have a more increased diversity in like games and characters, and having minorities being in like the gaming development industry.
Which is going to come from the indie gamers or the indie gaming.
I think so. Yeah, I think so. Very, very ever so slowly, we have been evolving the gaming industry one step at a time. We're seeing more females become active, not just in gaming, but like in the industry, in developing games. We're seeing more minorities being there, more representation, more characters that are more representative of a lot of things. I think, as society, as a whole, the gaming industry has started to pay attention to representation in their games. And I'm truly excited to see it keep evolving. And I think, like part of the reason why we made this podcast was to be a part of that, to be a part of the evolution, to encourage it, to encourage the female population to get their gamer on, to do it, to go get it. And I'm excited. It makes me so happy to think about, because I think about it as a kid. Girls weren't gamers. I mean, I was a proud gamer, but like I definitely got looks, and I was like, well, that just why? So, truly excited for that. Another big thing, an important thing, in my opinion, Steam. Steam is starting to have competition, and they are shooketh. They are sweating. There are new gaming platforms on the rise to challenge them, which, like, really, truly is huge, because competition can force prices to be lower while still maintaining, like, higher quality. It also, yes, ma'am.
So, yes, I like lower prices, but with all these indie games, I also don't want the indie games to have to lower their prices in order to be picked up.
No, it shouldn't affect indie games like that. This should just be for like the big, like the triple A's and stuff. At least from my understanding of economics and stuff. And like the indie game should be part of what is also making the competition. They are making a better product for a lower price range, because part of the thing is, like, when you are an indie gamer, because you're not necessarily well known, you do have to go in with a slightly lower price, because you need people to try the product, and then you get credibility, and then you can increase the price. But you're still getting that competition, which forces the bigger companies to have to be like, okay, I can't be charging, freaking, what is the standard now? $60 a game for the base game? It's crazy. Which, I mean, also our economy and inflation, but like, it's still a while. But competition is important, because competition forces evolution, it forces ingenuity, and like we should be getting better things, So I feel like, and Steam has gone unchallenged for a very long time. Like, Steam, I love you. A little stale. Getting stale. You need someone to quake your walls so that you're like, okay, yes, go for it.
So as somebody who works in HR and specifically works in rewards, so I think this is where I think the cost of games, sure, that's definitely a piece of it. But I think so much more Steam has to do something to say, this is why you should do games with us. And I don't think having the lowest price, I think that will help. But I think it'll be similar to Spotify, where people are going to be like, yeah, companies will say, Steam's not going to compensate me much for going over there. I want to work somewhere else. But I think doing something else to be rewarding the users, aside from having lower prices, whether it's, more activities that they can do, whether it's something that needs to distinguish them as a gaming
Right.
platform.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm meaning with like the ingenuity, innovation, right? It's pushing them. They have to do more. So like, yes, it's more than just the lower prices, but that was kind of like the more economics part I wanted to bring up. But yes, I also I mean that too. Like, they have to do more. They cannot just be content with what they are if they want to keep succeeding. And I think that is important for the company, but then also for us. What? You can go for it. You don't have to agree with me.
What are your thoughts on this Steam Deck?
What is the Steam Deck?
Or
what do you mean by Is that the controller?
It looks like a little Switch, but it's the Valve version.
So it's not the controller. I have the controller, the Steam controller.
I have the Steam controller too, and I do not play with it. No, but in February, Valve released a handheld gaming computer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Can be played as handheld, connected to a monitor in the same manner as Nintendo Switch. So I know they set a priority that it should be able to play the entirety of the Steam game library. That was the initial goal. Yeah, so that came out in February. Like, they need to be creating games or hardware or something to encourage people to basically become the Apple of of games.
I mean, I definitely think that's fascinating, and I feel like that's healthy competition for the Switch.
Yeah,
because like, yes, Switch has competition in the sense that it's competing against Xbox, PS, PC, but also like that's a more direct competition to the Switch, which is also fascinating because I feel like the Switch is essentially the upgrade of like the Game Boys and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we went from Game Boys to the Wii, then we went back because we all loved our Game Boys. We loved having the little small thing we could bring with us everywhere, right? And that's what the Switch is. It's the new and improved Game Boy, at least in my opinion, right?
So it says your Steam library is already on deck. Just power it and log in. So I think that's kind of touching back into that cloud piece that you were talking about earlier.
Yep. Oh, the cloud gaming.
Mm-hmm. I mean, clearly it hasn't made as much of a splash as the Switch, but I think spending more time in that direction, I think would help.
Well, Switch also has like a nostalgia and like a years-long fan base on its side.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
well, Switch
it definitely has that advantage, but
fully connected to Animal Crossing. Like, there's no way to unlink that.
Yeah, that too. Yep. Yeah, that and Pokemon, I feel like, are its big. Yeah. So, it's interesting. It's great. I love this. I'm excited. I love when things have competition. I like having competition. I feel like it makes me be better and do better. So I cannot wait. This is going to sound so dumb because this is like such an obvious thing, but we'll just state the obvious. You know, we're still going to be having the console wars. Xbox versus PS. And usually, I would say, it tends to be a result from the console wars that, like, you know, whatever's winning, it impacts the overall, you know, bigger gaming industry trends. So, the obvious, but, you know, we'll say it. And then this is kind of looping back to what we were talking about, how remakes and reboots has made an up and coming. And I think we're definitely going to still be seeing it for the next couple of years, especially like how you were saying that it kind of seemed like companies learned from COVID and kind of got this kickstart to bring back the nostalgia since we're all at home being couch potatoes. We're all antisocial now.
We all stream now.
We all stream
so we gotta
now.
Get new
exactly.
Content. It's so funny because I'm not an Instagram girl, so I, repeat outfits all the time. I fashion is not something that I'm having to constantly like recycle through my closet and try to like order hauls so I've got something new to wear on the Instagram, but I am always looking for a new game to play on Twitch.
True.
So
Same.
it's funny.
Yep.
Yeah. And I say that having played
content.
Curse of Blackmore Manor 3 times in the past 2 weeks. So like clearly not all new things.
Listen, you live your best life however that may be.
Thank you.
Blackmore Manor, truly a classic Nancy Drew game. You can't go wrong with it. One of their best.
Mm-hmm.
One of their most... Like, when I think Nancy Drew, that's definitely one of the big ones that comes to my mind. So,
and I did it in an hour and 42 minutes yesterday. Pew, pew.
Are you trying to speed run? Is that what you're doing?
Yeah, it's like a sweetie speed run where I'm not like... I'm trying to do it as fast as I can, but I'm taking new notes every time.
Okay.
And I'm, doing stuff by memory. So I'm not, like fully optimizing. I'm trying to figure out the fastest path while still...
I like that.
So ultimately,
cool.
I would like to be under an hour and a half, but we'll see.
You're getting there.
If I was actually trying to speedrun for Senior Detective, the speedrun record right now is 48 minutes. So I don't think I'm going to get that, but I would like to be under an hour 30.
My last, I don't really know if this is a trend, but like something I would like to become a norm is early access. I think more games should have early access. I think it's an amazing way for developers to get feedback, which can in turn ultimately change the direction of the game. And in ways that I think often are for the better, because they're not things they think about, and then suddenly they're having to think about it. But I'd also say it's kind of good for marketing, because especially like when you let streamers stream the early access, more people are seeing it, and like just feedback. I think feedback is important. And like with the marketing, like it helps to build the hype. It feeds the interest of gamers. Because like you were saying about the fashion, like we get excited. We're thinking about it. We're sleeping about it. We're like, it fills our lives. And like when you get excited, you're like, gosh, I wish it could. It's like waiting for like your next Netflix
I need
show,
this little witch game.
Like the next season.
I need it so badly.
Yeah. So I think it is starting to become more normalized, and I definitely hope it becomes something most games do.
The soft launch.
So, yeah. That was it. I feel like we talked a lot about the gaming. Covered a lot of interesting things. A lot of things to look forward to for 2022.
Tea party.
We don't really have a tea party, but we kind of have a tea party.
I had a tea party this weekend, so.
Oh, did you? Well, yeah, you did. You did a literal tea party. Literal tea party. Literally. I love that for you. I wish I had a tea party. I want to have a tea party. My mom used to do tea parties with me, and she got me a very, very nice tea party set for it. And like, I loved having like the sugar cubes and stuff. So this was just like micro drama in the preschool classroom.
Ideal.
In recent weeks, the word of the day has been marriage, but most specifically, marry. They are obsessed with, I'm gonna marry him. I'm gonna marry her. So-and-so is gonna marry so-and-so. And the drama that ensues from this, the meltdowns that are happening. She's gonna marry him, but I wanted to marry him. And like, oh man, the conversations we've had to have. And like, obviously they don't quite grasp the full concept of marriage. Like, I think really what they mean is maybe they'd like to date them in the future.
Or give them a little cheek kiss. Yeah.
Yeah, but like, marriage is their word.
They want to share a milk carton.
Oh my god, the milk cartons have like little pictures on the back, and immediately when I pass the milks out for lunch, everyone will hold up their milk. Who's on my team? You have bees? Bees? Okay, you're on my team. Oh, you have cows on your... Well, you're on my team. Fruits? Team fruits. Team milk fruits. You're like, okay, guys, please put your milks down. Let's not be spilling them again. Thank you. One of them, this one, she is a little troublemaker. Always. She's the first. What's on everybody's milk carton? What is on your milk carton? I need to know. I have bees today. I have bees. Who has bees? Who's on my team? They are so obsessed with teams and being on teams. It is the things they come up with to determine who is on their team. Oh, you just stubbed your toe? I stubbed my toe. You want to be on a team together?
Interesting.
Like you obsessed, absolutely obsessed with it. For what reason? I have no idea. We have also been having a lot of drama because quiet time. They started being too loud during quiet time and getting up from their cots and moving all around the room and speaking during story time before quiet time. So the new rules are the two people who are the quietest during story time get to turn off the lights before quiet time. And then the two people quietest during quiet time get to turn on the lights. So obviously in a day you can only pick 4 people. And holy moly, when you pick 2 people, you are the devil. Well, I was being so quiet. You realize we can only choose so many. We can't choose everybody. The same thing happens with their absolute favorite game to play is the statue game. And one person's at the front and everyone else is supposed to be still as statues. And then whoever they think is like most like a statue, right? The stillest, the quietest, they choose. And heaven forbid you choose one, everyone is throwing stones at you. I was the quietest. I was super quiet. I was not moving at all. Why didn't you choose me?
Okay, so they're choosing mates. They're choosing teams. They want to be chosen. Okay, so there's a lot of main character energy happening.
There's so much main character energy in my classroom. You don't even understand. Every single one of them is a main character to themselves.
Exactly. Side quests.
You know,
this is why we don't believe in side quests, because our side quests are somebody else's main quest.
Yeah. We're all main characters in our world. I love them. They're really quite something, and I always they make me so happy. Like, I may sound like I bitch about them, but I truly am so happy every time I'm at work. I go to work and they make me feel better and uplift me. But sometimes I I know they're only 4 years old, but sometimes I just what don't you understand? Oh man. Main character energy. I love that. I wish I had thought about that.
So we have main character energy and big babushka energy happening today.
And big babushka energy. We do.
Love.
Bless Dilba's heart. She is a babushka. She's 14 years old. That's old. Preschoolers. That's our drama. That's the drama. So, it's time. It's time to end it. It's the end. It is the end. You know what to do. You know how to do the things. We have a YouTube. We have a Twitter. We have an Instagram. I'll put the gardening pictures on Instagram. Easy claps. Incoming, maybe, stream the forest at some point. That would be quite interesting. We do have a Twitch. It'll be linked down below. But I would say for the most part, everything is pretty much no side quests, or I don't believe in side quests.
One of the two.
You can check out one of the two. You can check out our Buzzsprout to see, all the platforms you can listen to the podcast on. Obviously, the YouTube has the video format. We're working on CCs. The CCs will be better this time, the transcription. I was a little rushed last time and didn't have enough time, but it's okay. They'll be better. I'll go back and improve those. Obviously, you can find Sweetie at as Sweetie Potat on Twitter, Twitch.
Twitter and Twitch.
I'm
Sweetie_Potat.
Yes, Sweetie_Potat. Thank you. And me, nenyaadamas, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, YouTube, all the things. Hope you all have a wonderful rest of your week.
Bye.
And a good weekend. Enjoy the nice weather. We'll see you guys next time. Peace. I don't know, that's what I got.